There is nothing quite as addictive as finishing just a really good writing session. Dang, I really enjoyed that. Like one where you just get so pulled into the scene, into the story, that you just kind of like forget about time. It's so addicting. Like, this is why I love writing, especially when I try to do a lot of writing at once. So, this December, I'm trying to write 50,000 words. It is currently December 9th, and we are just a little bit behind. I think yesterday I almost caught up, but I needed to have had like 700 words written to hit the mark. Because currently we're trying to write 1,613 words every day to be able to do the 50,000 in 31 days. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not new here, welcome back. We are still writing, we are still pushing forward. And this morning, I didn't start with like a new scene that I was drafting. I was working on actually the inciting incident chapter that I had written kind of poorly, but the first time, like not poorly, but it was like a very loose structure of what the scene needed. And then I now was adding like a lot more like description and a lot more of like ramping up to it, if that makes sense. So it had started at I think around 1,000 words, and it is now at like 1,900 words. So I've added 900 words. I've written more than that, but I've been like writing and deleting. So I'm not counting all the words I've written in terms of like if I have to delete other stuff. I'm kind of doing the net amount of words I've written. So it makes going back and revisiting chapters a little bit less efficient than writing from scratch. But I've been just going through the first, I think it's these first like 6 or 7 chapters. So, briefly, if you didn't watch my previous video where I started this writing challenge, I just kind of went for it at the beginning of the month. I didn't really have a lot prepared in terms of like an outline or anything. And it was a little bit like pulling teeth. Like, I was just forcing myself to get the words down using 25-minute sprints. I wouldn't say it was miserable, but it definitely just didn't feel easy. And I knew that I could get back into the first drafting mindset, but it takes me a little bit when I start again. And then I got stuck, and that forced me to actually sit down and write out an outline for the rest of the story. And then because of that, I reorganized some stuff. It also clarified things. So now I've kind of gone through the first like 6 or 7 chapters, and I'm just making each of them a little bit stronger, fleshing them out a little bit more before I continue. Like, I'm not worried about like nitpicky editing things. It's more about just like getting everything there, even if it's in a messy way, so that the thoughts are there, the components are there, but still be a lot needed in later revisions to actually make it like good. I have one more of these chapters that I want to go over before I continue on to a brand new fresh chapter, which is exciting. So I'm at 914 words for the day so far. So I need to get another like 700 before the day is done. So I don't think this chapter that I want to work on is going to take up 700 words. I mean, maybe. I'm thinking about adding like another scene to the end of it, basically. So that might be 700 words, but if it isn't, regardless if I do hit 700 more words in this other chapter, I think I am going to have to go on to another one. I'm just feeling good today. I'm really feeling the writing. I don't really have too much I have to do. Because another reason why the start of this month was so tough was because I was finishing traveling. And then even when I came back, I've been dealing with jet lag. We also moved right before the trip I went on, this like big bike trip. So we were actually unpacking and settling in from that. And then also, this is kind of gross, but our car, so me and my partner, we had a bunch of our shoes in there that we hadn't unpacked, and it was just like sitting in the driveway. In the 2.5 months that we were gone, stuff got moldy. So yesterday we did a bit of like a hazmat session where we were wearing our masks and dealing with that and soaking everything and scrubbing it in vinegar. So things have been a little bit chaotic, and I finally feel like today is like a deep breath day, and I can actually focus on doing things that I want to do, because not only do I want to get a bunch of writing done today, but I also want to try and get into the Christmas spirit, because it is already 16 days till Christmas. I just don't feel like it is. I have not been in the Christmas spirit yet. So I don't know what that'll require today, whether I should do a little bit of decorating, whether I should maybe bake some Christmas cookies, or I have to put the lights up outside and it doesn't look like it's raining today. So that could be a good thing to do. So the goals for the next couple days, get a bunch of writing done, hopefully catch up. It's only 700 words over the regular daily word count. So I think I can easily do that today and maybe even get a little bit ahead, because I know it might not be possible to do the word count every day from now till the end of the month. So just having like a day buffer always feels a lot better. And as well, like it makes me write a lot more calm without thinking like I have to race to get a certain word count in. And then also some Christmassy stuff. I think I'm gonna make some more tea before I continue. Also, kind of funny, I have been struggling with figuring out exactly how much milk to heat up and froth before making my tea. And of course, it would make sense to just like measure or something. But I don't do that. I like to just eyeball and wing it. So I had some extra milk that I topped up my tea with halfway through that writing session. So, more tea. He's so big. So today did not go quite as planned. I'd intended to go straight back to more writing this morning, but that did not happen because as I was making a cup of tea, I saw how nice the world looked outside with no rain for the first time in so long that I decided to instead go for a run, and it was amazing. It was like even sunny. And then when I got back, I just got distracted by like life admin stuff. Before I knew it, it was mid-afternoon and I was ready to do some Christmassy stuff, though I did get about an hour of writing in right before dinner, and I managed to finish the edits I wanted to do to that other chapter. So now all we've got is free road ahead of us. There's nothing left to edit. We are just going to go for it. And I want to get some writing done tonight, but the priority right now is making cookies. Last night, I basically caught up to the word count. I'm a little bit short, but we're basically there. So after 9 days, I should have been at 14,516 words. And I got to last night 14,458. So I think that's like 50 words short, which is not bad at all. I started that new chapter that I was talking about, and I think I started it wrong. I wrote almost like 500 words for this chapter, and I was laying in bed this morning and I was like, this isn't right. I started too late and I need to go back because I want to be able to show my character skills. And she just kind of like obtains the information, but I think I need to show her getting it. So rather than just jump straight in this morning of trying to do a rewrite of this, I think I'm actually going to take a second to maybe outline a little bit or maybe fill out like a scene card where I'm saying this is the goal, this is the setup, this is, and try and like structure it out a little bit more so I don't start at the wrong spot again, because I know what I need to do, but it's just not visual like in my head, like I just can't see it yet, and so it's a lot harder to write a scene when you can't see it. I also made some tea this morning, as usual, but instead of adding milk, I added eggnog, and it is actually so good. So I may have to change that up for the rest of the Christmas season because it's absolutely delicious, though potentially like a little sweet. So I don't know if I can drink it all day, but at least for my first cup of the day, it's quite nice. My first step is going to fill out what I haven't filled out on my sheet. I get to fill out 2 more boxes, fill out my day 9 right under the straight line. And then, yeah, I'm just going to go from there. I'm not going to do any writing sprints this morning because I enjoy writing sprints. I think they're also necessary at times to make me focus up and actually do the thing, because when I tell myself I'm only doing it for 25 minutes, it's like a lot more manageable. But when I'm in like a flow state, sprints just don't work for me because I feel like when I know there's a timer going, it's all I can think about. I like check it every once in a while. And then when it ends, I'm like, oh, like we're done. So I'm so much more conscious of time moving. But if I'm just writing and I can get in the zone without it, time really does stop, or I guess accelerate without me noticing. And it just feels like a much more immersive experience.
So let me show you the scene card now.
Oh no. It's like all eggnog.
Now you're just drinking Earl Grey flavored
I
eggnog.
know. Oh well. Oh, this was a mistake. And then I'll put some into this cup. I'll let it steep. I'll pour half over and then dilute it. I mean, if you
What do you
want,
do with the other half?
you drink it. See? Nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of foam too. I've just finished writing probably one of my favorite scenes so far of this entire book. I won't say it's my favorite because I think there's a lot of really cool stuff in here, but dang. And it came from a chapter that I literally, like at the beginning of yesterday, didn't know what to do with. Like, I'd written those 500 words and then quickly realized this isn't a good place to start. So I deleted them. So I started the day at negative 500. And then I had an idea of where I should start it now, like where I should back it up to. So I knew that first chunk, and then I also knew kind of the repercussions of the scene and the last section. So I went through first at the beginning of yesterday, doing the first and the last section, but then I had this whole middle part that I didn't really know what to do with. I kind of started writing a little bit, and I was like, I'm not sure. And then I got distracted because we had someone come by to clean out the mold in the car. And they did such a good job. I'm so happy with it. But I walked to the bank to get cash to pay him. And on the walk there and back, I was thinking about the story and something about just like the activity and just thinking and having the music playing in my ears. It just clicked. I knew exactly what I needed to do. And I got home and I was so excited to write. And I didn't know how I exactly wanted it to end because I'm setting up this like pretty adrenaline filled scene. And so I kind of wrote a bit of like summarizing paragraphs at the end, and that's why I left it yesterday. And I felt really good about it. I not only made up for those 500 words, but I wrote a net 1,600 for the day. So I wrote over 2,000 words total. And then I was planning on just kind of leaving it because I had kind of put those summarizing paragraphs. And I was like, in draft two, I'll come up with something. It'll be great. You know, leave that for future Josie. But this morning, when I was having trouble sleeping because I'm still feeling quite a bit of jet lag, but I was just lying there and then I couldn't help but start thinking about the end of that section. Almost immediately, like a scene, a movie playing in my head, I could see exactly what would need to have happened. So I made myself try and sleep for like another half hour, 45 minutes. Then I sat down my laptop and I just like started writing and I couldn't stop. And I couldn't stop until I just finished that whole section. And actually, the part that comes after, I just bumped to the next chapter. So I wrote 1,700 words before my cup of tea for the morning, before really getting dressed for the day. And it just felt so good. Like it felt so addicting to write like that. And then after getting my tea, I wrote a little bit more, bringing us up to 2,200 words for the day. And I'm making myself take a break now because there's things I have to actually do today besides just writing. But also, I don't really want to get burnt out. And I want to leave my mind to kind of mull over the next section before I just jump straight in. Because I think this, most of all, is a little bit of like a lesson for myself of the unexpected things I can come up with when I give myself the space to do so. So, from when I started writing as a kid to now, I've really shifted from pantsing, so just writing and seeing where the story takes me, to pretty heavy plotting. So, I've been writing thrillers for the last years of my life, and each one I'll plot pretty heavily. So, I'll know in each scene, you know, what's happening, who the characters are, the setting, kind of all the inflection points. So, when it comes time to writing, I'm not really that creative. Like, I'm just kind of putting words to the ideas I've already had. So when I plot these stories, right, I'm plotting it in a matter of like a couple of days, maybe a week. And yes, I'm thinking about the story in advance, but a lot of the like minutia I'm kind of coming up with all in one go. And I feel like it's kind of limiting my creativity in a way because it's relying on a Josie that exists for like a couple of days to come up with an entire book's worth of content. And I think it does work in some of these more like contemporary thrillers I've been writing, but especially for this epic fantasy, like I want it to feel expansive. I want it to feel whimsical. I want you to feel like there's just so much richness in the world, like it's spilling over in the chapters. You know, even not to distract, but you'll get like little glimpses of other stories going on around the characters that you're never really going to know the full context around. And it's just to make you feel like you're in a real world. And all of those little things I can't come up with in advance. And even though I've been a little bit like nervous maybe about how little I've actually plotted for the story, like now for each chapter I have like a couple sentences of what needs to happen, but it's very much like the character needs to come up with another investigation point and prove that they have this capability or something, I don't know, something like that. But it really allows me in the moment to kind of come up with whatever. So it's a little scary because who knows what I'm going to come up with? Is it going to be any good? But also, it's exciting because it's allowing me to just focus on one scene, one problem, and spend all the creativity, like quote I have for that day on that scene. And if I can come up with this chapter I've just written, I cannot wait to see what else comes up in this story. And this is not to say that this is going to be my writing process for the rest of time. It's working for me right now. I'm enjoying it. I'm just going to do it because I think there are a lot of really cool scenes I've come up with in stories that I've heavily plotted. I have gone back in subsequent drafts and changed scenes to be different when I have other ideas for it. But I feel like a lot of times when you write the first draft, there's no major issues with it, you're kind of locked into that story. So being able to kind of lay the foundation with those really cool set pieces in mind is only going to make the editing process easier for me. I figured I would save my most fun Christmas earrings for the last clip of this vlog. It goes with the fun Christmas lights I got to see a couple nights ago. And holy cow, we are almost halfway through this challenge already. I can almost hardly believe it. So today is December 15th. I haven't done any writing yet for today, which means we have like 17 days of writing left, 14 down. So we're basically right there. So we are currently at 23,296 words, which is so close to halfway through this challenge of 25K. And I'm hoping I can try and get that today. But we theoretically only had to be at about like 22,500 at the start of today. So that means I have 700 word buffer, which at the end of the day isn't actually that much because in previous challenges like this, I've been able to finish like 5, sometimes 10 days early. Yeah, like I used to write so much every single day of this sort of challenge. I'm not super disappointed that I'm not that far ahead on this one because I've been taking my time a lot more with this project. Like when I start feeling uncertain about where it's going, I'll take a break, I'll go do something else. I'll like think about what I want to do with it, why I'm not happy with it. I'll come back, I'll tweak stuff. Like once I hit my 16,000 for the day, most of the time I just go back and rework previous passages instead of like continuing on. So when all is said and done, I think that the quality of the writing in this draft is a lot higher than some of my previous first drafts, which will make the back end a lot easier. But for halfway through this writing challenge, I'm actually still feeling like pretty good and excited to keep going. Like it kind of took me by surprise that we've already hit 15 days because I think that since I'm going at this slower pace, I don't feel very much burnout. And I'm still just so excited for the last sequence of this character's plot. Like, that's what I'm kind of like moving towards. And it's like the carrot at the end of all of this is being able to do these scenes that really were some of the first ones I was thinking about when I was thinking of this character. And there's some fun reveals that are going to happen. There's definitely some like foreshadowing and things I need to add in to what I've written before that I just like haven't really thought about a good place, or I thought I would write it later and then I just didn't end up doing it. Challenge is not over yet, however, so I need to keep writing because we literally need to do everything I just did again And it would be nice to get a little bit further ahead just because of like Christmas and New Year's coming up and all the things that are associated with that. But for now, I'm happy because we did get a 700 word buffer. And I really have been leading into the Christmas vibes in the last like week. I don't even know how long this video has been going on for now. But watching Christmas movies, listening to Christmas music, baking, yeah, everything just feels a lot more holiday. So that's really nice. I will catch you in the next video.